My opening comment is that I wanted coffee, but I couldn't find any, and so I'm gonna have to drink water. But no, great to be here again. Another season, exciting things ahead of us. We've been we're trying to follow up on our own footsteps, right? Playoffs, 5 straight years, been going up every year. We've been getting a little closer to that final goal. And as the season starts on Saturday, there is that good pressure of feeling that we're so close and we need to get there. It's a good feeling to have. We don't want to start the season as, wow, what are we going to do this season? No, the pressure is there. We all feel it. It's a good pressure, like I said. We want to be there. We want to be in this position. And I feel like the team has a few changes, and we can talk a little more about that, but they're all positive, and we'll be ready. We'll be ready on Saturday, be ready during the season, and hoping that at the end of the season we're going to be celebrating something more. So.
Oscar, your thoughts?
No, first of all, thank you so much for your presence here, also for the connection that you do with our fans and the community and the soccer followers too. It is great to start at this point again, looking the season starting ahead, and good. We are excited. The boys have been training well. They're excited as well to be in front of our fans here in the stadium on Saturday. I think it's time for us to compete again, and we will be ready. So again, good, happy to be here, and happy to start the season.
All right, we'll get started with Austin.
Afternoon, gentlemen. One question for each of you. For Luis first, just the off season was obviously very busy for you. First starting with Facu leaving and replacing him with various other pieces. Just what was the kind of off season looking like for you in terms of taking this roster as it stands and trying to build on it? And then for Oscar, for those new pieces that have come into the fold, how have you felt that they have kind of meshed with the team that has been with you now kind of for the last couple of years?
I guess every off season is busy, right? But the good thing is that our off season has been busier and busier because we got less and less time, which means that we've been going further and further in the playoffs. The teams are getting eliminated. They have more time to plan, and they have more time to get things done. Of course, we don't wait until we're done to start planning. We already have things in place. But replacing Facundo is a big one because, of course, he's the top scorer for the team in our franchise history, and brought us lots of good things. And I think we're good. We're excited with the new players coming in. That was one of the main priority was replacing Facundo, and adding some pieces for in the midfield. We had some unfortunate injuries so far in preseason, and I think Oscar can talk a little more about what he's seen out there with the guys training. Nico Rodriguez is a very exciting prospect, very young kid. First time outside of Colombia, had never stepped out of Colombia. So we got to be careful with those kids and making sure that they adapt not only to the team, to the game, but to the country, to the city, all of that, right? But yeah, we're feeling good about it, and I know Oscar can talk a little more about how the guys are integrating.
Right. It is about and when you are studying the complexion of the groups, and you have 2 or 3 major changes on the roster, especially in your guys that used to be in the lineup or starting 11. Most important is to give them some time so they can gel together with the ones that are here. And we normally, as the coaches, we expect that that chemistry, that developing of that mix, it becomes soon. And I have I have to say that I have seen it. And the match against Miami, I see glimpses of that communion and how these guys are yelling with the other ones. So that was one of the positive points that I took out of that one game. Edward has been in the league. He knows the league. His adaptation pretty much is just about what are the tactics of the team. Not much about how is the league and what is the pace of the game and the tempos and things like that. Nico Rodriguez, as Luis mentioned, is a young man that comes with a lot of hops, and we have a big expectations, but I don't want to throw those big expectations on his shoulders. I think what we need from him is just to let him settle with the league, let him settle with the group, let him be himself also, because he's a young man. But the response that I have had, or what we have seen during this week of training, basically after he resolved his visa and start training with the group, is very positive too. So we're good. Marco is an international player with, despite of his age, is young, but has already been in process when he moves from Dortmund to the other group, and then has been with the national team. And you can see that he has more matureness in terms to that adaptation. That has been good for us too. And I think also, guys, is that probably the best inclusion that we have this year is the participation of our home grounds with the group. For me, has been fantastic. See the process of our club during many years on developing these guys, and I can see now that they are reaching, and that's it, that excites me more than any other thing. So we'll see.
We'll go to Alonso, and then we'll go to Mike.
Thank you. One question, one for Luis and El Profe. Luis, you were mentioned that you like the pressure and everything, but since Oscar Pareja came to the club, 5 consecutive playoff, US Open Cup title, MLS is back, runner-up, and you have 18 players that will finish contract on December this year, 7 of them no option, and also the head coach is his own last year. Are you gonna start talking to him for renew, or you gonna wait for the last of month or at the end of the season to talk to him about it, like to continue for next season? Profe, se acaba hoy día de anunciar lo de Cartagena, y ha sido un jugador que a base de esfuerzo se ha ganado el titularato, y a la misma vez muchos medios en inglés y en español siempre lo han calificado como uno de los mejores en su puesto. El club va a buscar un jugador parecido a sus características, un 8 o un más como un César Araujo, que es más, como decía en Sudamérica, más perro, ¿no?
Pues yo puedo responder esa
Dale.
primero. Sí, fue una lástima lo de Wilder, porque es un jugador que se ha ganado a pulso la posición en el grupo. Ustedes no se imaginan la tristeza tan grande, porque es un jugador que tiene mucha influencia social en el equipo, y al punto que esta semana empezó a ir ya a los entrenamientos a hacer su recuperación, y sus compañeros lo han pedido para que esté con el grupo ahí en la línea. Entonces eso demarca mucho el apoyo que le están dando los jugadores y nosotros, el club, que se ha portado maravillosamente también con él. Sí que sabemos de que es sus últimos años de contrato, pero todos sabemos que en esta industria es así. Hay que darle, hay que trabajar, hay que hacer las cosas mejor, y lo de Wilder en este caso, pues estoy completamente seguro de que lo único que ha hecho el club ahora, porque he sido testigo de eso, es apoyarlo y que él se sienta que no está solo en el proceso. Lo queremos mucho, muchísimo lo queremos a Wilder. Estamos muy agradecidos con su esfuerzo y él con el club. Así que yo por ahora creo que el foco es en que se recupere bien, que recupere su forma. Y yo entiendo, o sea, la lealtad que ha tenido el club siempre con sus jugadores. Yo he sido testigo de eso.
I think that answering your question, I can count 4 players that would be out of contract. And options are options. Options are not end of contract. They are unilateral for the club. Get to the end of the year, we decide to exercise them. We exercise them. I can count 4 players out of contract. So I'm not sure where you're getting your numbers, but those are the ones that I have. And those are going to be taken care of at due time. And same thing for everybody else who may be out of contract, including, like you said, coaches or other people and staff. And those are conversations that we started already. And, of course, that includes ownership. And it's something that we take our due process. And I think we learned from past lessons, and I don't believe that things are going to be the same as they were before. But it's something that we continue to talk, and we hope to have to a conclusion earlier, sooner than later.
All right, we'll go to Mike, and then we'll go to Alex.
Okay. Question for Muzzi. Luis, over here. How you doing today? Kind of just following up on Alonso's question. You kind of look back at the last few years, 2022 Open Cup, 23 second in Supporter Shield standings, last year with the Easter Conference final appearance. Obviously, you guys are in your last year of your respective contracts, but is there a certain feeling within this group that this may be the last year to do something special, which is basically win MLS Cup, a long-term goal for you guys?
I think that it's hard to say this is the end point, right? I think that we got very close last year, right? And if we had gotten there, we would have said, "Is this the end point?" Because we always want to win, right? You want to win it again. You want to win it again. You want to repeat, quadrupeat, whatever the terms are here. But that's always a goal. It's difficult for us to say we win, therefore next year that there's not much to be done. It's always the same. We always want to win. Is the group getting to that point? I think that we're adding small pieces to get there. We got, like I said, a couple of things that we didn't expect in preseason. Wilder is a very unfortunate something that changes our planning, right? That changes the complexity of the group. But I wouldn't say that if we don't win, that's it, and it's everything is lost, and let's just throw everything in the wind and start it over. I don't think that's the case. I think that we're continuously in that mode of winning all the time.
Go to Alex.
Luis, how are you?
Okay, you?
In terms of the roster construction, do you guys anticipate making any more splashes in the coming weeks to try to replace some of those pieces that are now missing?
We depends on what you call a splash. We have all 3 DPs now, so we don't have space for a DP. We do have one open under 22, following the model that now you have that option of choosing your model, right? So we're going on 3 DPs and 3 under 22s. We only have 2 under 22s, but again, we don't want to rush and try to do things just for the sake of doing things. So we've been very careful on how to possibly use that spot. One of the things that Oscar mentioned is the growth of our homegrowns. We also have a very exciting draft pick that's been doing great, Gerbet, our French kid that came from Clemson. So we want to be careful there, right? We don't want to do things that at the end of the day will work against other things, right? And we're being careful is the right word. We're just looking at all the options, seeing what needs to be done, and knowing that our window is still open until April 23rd. So we got 2 months until the window closes. And if not, the summer window is right after that. So we need some flexibility to adapt depending on how things go.
All right, we'll go to the back here.
Profe, buenas tardes. Una consulta. ¿Cómo ha sido la pretemporada? ¿Cómo ha sido trabajar con el equipo y sobre todo los nuevos refuerzos y las bajas también, como lo decía ya Luis, Facundo Torres, que no va a poder continuar, que se fue también para el Palmeiras? Pero ¿cómo lo ve al equipo? ¿Cómo va planteando su primer cotejo este fin de semana ante el Philadelphia Union?
Bueno, muchos saludos. Yo la pretemporada la he visto bien. Uno siempre quiere más porque pues es la labor natural del entrenador estar siempre exigiendo un poco más de rendimiento, pero a esta altura pues hemos hecho algunos partidos amistosos. Tuvimos una semana que la llamamos nosotros de sobrecarga. También los muchachos se han puesto a punto. Ahora lo que necesitamos es competencia, que vengan los partidos, que compitamos, que empecemos a ver dónde estamos parados, que la misma competencia lo va alistando a uno, ¿cierto? Es difícil hoy pensar de que en el juego uno estemos con todos los cilindros prendidos, pues nos gustaría mucho, pero yo entiendo en esta industria, en este juego en el que he estado tantos años, de que el juego es el que le dice a uno cómo estás. Así que vamos a irnos mirando y alcanzar siempre nuestro máximo nivel lo más pronto posible. Las incorporaciones han sido buenas. Yo estoy contento porque Eduardo Atuesta, se lo decía ahora, es un jugador que no necesita adaptación casi porque él conoce la liga. Marco Pasalic, yo lo he visto acomodándose muy bien al grupo, a las exigencias tácticas del modelo de juego. Y a Nico Rodríguez, que es el más joven, primero lo he visto tratando de asentarse bien con la liga, con los métodos de entrenamiento. No lo queremos ni apurar ni presionar, queremos que vaya él orgánicamente acostumbrándose a esto. Entonces vamos bien. Yo de nuevo te repito, esperemos a ver cómo vamos empezando la liga, cómo nos va dando señales el nivel que es de los jugadores.
All right, we'll go to Farah.
Hola, Luiz Muzzi y Oscar Pareja, Telemundo Acafara. Quería saber sobre cuál es la identidad que podrían definir que es este equipo ahora en la MLS 2025. Ha habido algunos cambios, nuevas adquisiciones. Y bueno, la otra pregunta iba a ser hablando sobre esos fichajes claves, que ya prácticamente hablaste de lo que sería ellos, cómo funcionaron en esta pretemporada. ¿Y cuál tú crees que sería ese delantero letal para esta campaña?
Bueno, mira, hoy contamos con Duncan Maguire, que se está recuperando de su hombro. Yo a Duncan lo veía lo he visto en un camino ascendente hasta que vino la lesión, ¿no? Pero no tiene una lesión que le compromete mucho porque es el hombro y no dudo que va a estar en un muy buen nivel. Además es un jugador joven, es un jugador que está en lo que llamamos el prime time de ellos, donde están empezando a dar su máximo rendimiento. Yo creo que Ramiro viene bien. Él tuvo un segundo semestre muy bueno, con muchos goles, y se estabilizó. Él entiende de que tiene que aparecer con más frecuencia en el gol por ser un 9, y los 9 deben hacer goles. Y lo de Luis Muriel, que para nuestro gusto y nuestras sensaciones, pues esperamos de que este año podamos tener un rendimiento mucho mejor. Con esos 3 9 iniciamos el campeonato y esperemos de que tengamos buena producción. Ya de nuevo, como le decía a tu colega, que el juego le va dando a uno luces y ya uno va mirando a ver cómo va evolucionando el equipo.
Y sobre ese segundo arquero, el venezolano Javier Otero, ¿cómo lo ves entonces para esta temporada?
Yo lo veo muy bien. Sabes que yo cuando vine hace 5 años acá, yo lo veía tapando en la academia y tenía muchas dudas porque no por chico, pero o sea, me costó verlo en el proceso de desarrollo y cada día que puedo le recuerdo eso porque cada que pasa el tiempo me sorprende más. Él anda muy bien, tuvo un año muy bueno con el segundo grupo este año que pasó y ahora en pretemporada lo vi muy bien. Entonces es un producto de la academia. Ya hoy es el segundo arquero del Orlando City. Es el segundo de Gallese y para llegar ahí pues no es fácil. Yo lo veo bien.
All right, we'll do just a couple more. We'll go back here to Nathaniel.
Oscar, question for you. With all the talks about the goals of the MLS Cup, building off of last year with the Eastern Conference Final, how do you keep the team focused on those goals, but also focused on the current week, the current games, the minor goals, so they can get to those major goals? How do you keep them focused on kind of one game at a time type thing?
Right. We had a meeting with the players as soon as we've started the preseason, and I use this comparison or this way to explain where we were in that moment and what we're going to aim for this 1 year. And my talks to them was we were cutting our season in the final of the conference with New York, and we were about one more game to go to the MLS Cup. Now we are 34 games away from that, but we're going to keep going because we're not going to start over. We're going to keep growing. Seems like we're close, but now we need 34 games more to build on that dream. So we're in that mode. The team doesn't seem like we just cut it and leave it. We're in an ongoing mode and find that result.
We'll go back to Mike over here.
Pregunta, profe, para los dos, si se puede. Me gusta la cámara aquí, tengo que hacer doble trabajo hoy. Te quería preguntar sobre lo último con David Brécalo. Sabemos que la semana pasada dijiste que estaba un poco apretado en el músculo y que por ocasión lo tuvieron que sentar. Solo quería saber cuál es la actualización con él. Y la segunda, para los dos, obviamente con la salida de Nico Lodeiro, obviamente como un entrenador ahora le presenta ahora un nuevo reto en cómo buscar ese nuevo jugador que puede reemplazarlo. ¿Qué están haciendo ambos para tener ese hueco ya llenado en las siguientes semanas, si no antes que comience el campeonato el sábado?
Bueno, lo de Nico Lodeiro, yo creo que es una muy buena oportunidad para expresar el respeto que le tenemos a Nico, el club, y la muy buena relación que hemos tenido con él, entrenadores, jugador, club. Yo pienso que es el proceso del juego, del fútbol, ¿no? Unos van saliendo, otros van llegando. Ahora nos jugamos un poco el hecho de que siempre te gusta tener los jugadores a los que estás acostumbrado a ver, pero yo creo que el proceso también merece que los chicos que están empujando de abajo pues puedan ver un espacio, ¿no? Y yo creo que las circunstancias se crearon para que existiera ese espacio. Nico está bien, el club tiene expectativas con los pelados, el entrenador también, los chicos están esperando. Y yo creo que el juego nos va diciendo, a ver, si eso es buena idea o si habrá que hacer alguna otra cosa más. Y ahí le pasamos la pelota a Muzzi a ver qué hacemos.
I'm gonna answer in English too, but I think that first of all I wanted to say exactly the same thing that Oscar said about how much we respect Nico and how much of an incredible person, not only player and all of that, he's been here. When I was talking to him yesterday, I said, man, in just 1 year here, I feel like you've been here forever. It's like, you know, you're part of this here. And like Oscar said, it's the game, right? It's things happen. There's we hope that behind the ones coming behind are going to succeed and take the ball and run with it, not run with it, but you know, I think that there are high expectations for the kids that are behind. And again, for Nico, you know, there was a chance for him to probably get more playing time. He's at the end of his career. He's 36, but he plays as a 31. So he's still got like 4 or 5 years. But he needs to see some playing time because he was not getting much as he expected, right? And for us, the club also has our cap that we need to be cap compliant now. And I read some of that somewhere. And when you add things up, that was a move that was necessary. And it was not something that we sat down yesterday and said, Nico, you're going to go somewhere. It was something that we've been discussing for a while, as we would for sure with any player, but even more so with a person and an individual like Nico that we respect so much. So just great things to say about him. I wish he's very successful in Houston, as long as we don't play MLS Cup and against them. Yeah, I don't even know what the other part was. I forgot because
Carlos update. David just had a tinnitus during the last week. It was just a couple of days, but today he was training normally with the group. He's good. He's good to go.
All right, and we'll do one last quick one with Austin.
Oscar, I just wanted to ask you, for this weekend against Philadelphia, obviously going to be a very different look with Jim gone. He was there for 10 years now. Bradley Carnell takes over. What are you kind of expecting from this new look union?
What I have seen on the games that they have played and the way the roster of Philadelphia has been developed so far, I didn't see major changes. Obviously, they have a different coach, but the format is very similar. I thought the intention from my side is like I continue with something that they built in these 9 years with Curtin, but we see if there is some other tactical movements or approaches that we can see in the game. But so far, what I have seen is probably a very decent continuation of what Philadelphia is. And the people may expect similarities on there. And we will be prepared for any other movement, but that's what I see from Philadelphia.